Hello and welcome to Devotion to Writing, a channel devoted to helping you cultivate a daily writing practice and realize you are creative abundance. In this series of videos, I offer tips and tricks and things that have helped me cultivate my writing practice to sustain myself as a writer for more than 30 years. These are things that I've learned over this journey of writing, and I share them with you in these videos. I hope you enjoy. So if you're feeling stuck creatively, if you don't feel like you have any new ideas coming and nothing really feels maybe exciting right now or stimulating, or maybe you just need to break out of some tired routine and find some inspiration in something new, then I want to explore that in this video, how bringing ourselves into new situations or a new environment or embarking on a new activity or a new hobby can inspire and resuscitate and excite your writing, your creative life. So writing is fundamentally, I believe, a journey of self-discovery. And when we feel stuck, when you feel stuck, it may just be that you're stuck in some familiar ways of seeing or being and acting. And so I thought I'd just give you a few things to try to kind of shake you out of this malaise that you may be feeling creatively or even within yourself. So a couple of things. Travel, one. So travel certainly shakes us free from routine ways of seeing and experiencing life. It throws us into the unknown. A trip, but a trip could be maybe to the other side of the world, but it doesn't have to be. We can make a trip to the market in our own town or across the city, someplace that we've never been before, where our senses are brought to life again as we take in the smells and the colors and the sights and the sounds that are around us. And so that is to say that travel isn't about distance, but it is about leaving the familiar. In that way, we could pick up a book and travel. So the idea is to just, if you're feeling like you're not inspired or you have nothing creative to offer, that maybe you just need to travel a little, whether that's physically travel or just move yourself into a foreign environment. And that could be a book or, like I said, a market across town. I've loved travel all my life, and whether again I'm overseas or I take a trip to an adjoining town, it has helped me. This sort of moving myself has helped me for years to generate material to kind of shake me out of my sleep. I'll get back to this. I'll get back to travel in a moment. I'll get back to what travel does, what all of this bringing ourselves into a new environment, what a new activity, etc. can do for us creatively. I'll get back to that in a minute, but let me go to a couple of other things other than travel that we might try. New relationship. And by this, I don't mean we leave, say, our marriage or relationship we're in, but if we're meeting new people or even seeing ourselves in relationship to a new, again, environment or an activity, relationships require a new language. A new environment is going to require from us a new language. It shakes the rust from our seeing and our this kind of behavior that may have become just kind of rote, and it thereby shakes up our expression. We need to find different ways to be in expression with this new relationship, this new environment, this new activity. So, and this is the key, that when we engage with the foreign or the strange, the new, we are forced to do two things, both of which excite our language. In fact, they excite the bedrock from which language comes. That is our essence. Call it our soul, call it the divine source, call it the cosmic energy, whatever it is, whatever you want to call it. Again, there's no real word for this. It just is this kind of ground from which language comes, our expression comes, our actions come. So two things that kind of excite our language, and one that when we engage with a new environment, with travel, with a new activity, that we have to make sense of the new experience. So this generates new language. We need to language in order to understand the experience. And two, we need to adopt or invent a language to digest it. And invent language, we have to do this to, as I said, understand. And for me, travel has always done that for me like nothing else. I am forced to come up with a language for the new colors, for new tastes, smells, sounds, for everything that is unfamiliar to me, really just to orient myself. I need language, and that is one of the things that we use language for. Travel then, or a new experience, a new activity, it generates for us these metaphors, new metaphors, exciting metaphors, because we have to compare this new thing to something that we know. And it then creates these really exciting new connections that we didn't realize before. And we do this with language primarily first, and then we can experience it in a new way. So we must call it something in order to understand it. The very grappling then with language, that we grapple with language in order to pin something down and to express this new encounter. And this is a way that we live at the very arising of language. We live at the very arising of language. And for me, this is where the exciting, where it's really exciting, where writing is really exciting, when we're at that edge of the sayable, and we are finding we're groping for the right words to express what we're feeling, what we're sensing, what we're experiencing. And I like I said, I believe this is really one of the best places our writing can be. And so if you're not feeling creative, if you don't feel anything new is coming, you don't have ideas, throwing yourself into something foreign, new, strange, may just give you this firing of a new language and ways to embody what you're experiencing. The other thing I mentioned was that we have to adopt a language when we encounter something new, when we travel, when we encounter the foreign, because whatever it is that is coming to us, whether it's a new country, a new hobby, say something like weaving, or we take up sailing, or cooking in a new cuisine, or we're learning to play an instrument. All of these things, anything we encounter comes with a language, comes with words, a set of words that are in use around these activities or places. And these are often quite foreign words to us. And so these alien sounds, these alone can excite our senses, can excite our sense of possibility. We may try to incorporate them into our work in some way. They will open up for us new similes, new metaphors, new ways of expressing ourselves, because as we get to know their function, these words, their function in this new thing that we are taking on, or new thing that we are exploring. So as we absorb this language that just naturally comes with this new environment or activity that we're stepping into, we have to adapt these new words, these ways of expressing that are inherent to this new thing. And we have to incorporate these new words, and incorporate means take them into our bodies, right? We have to take them into our bodies and formulate them, or form with them. So at that moment, we stand for a moment in the excitement of the new, of the revelatory. We stand with the vibration and the energy of the word, the power, the magic of the word becoming, not word as a metaphor, as standing for, but the word as the thing itself, the invoked, the summoned. And we feel that power again. So if we're tired, if we're we feel like we're lacking enthusiasm, this newness of language, this very vibration that we can feel from this new language, these new words, our own formulation and formulating of a new language, just to say what this new experience is, can startle us back to life, to be present enough with life, to be in awe again. That is, if we have grown dull of language, of our own stories, dull to the vibrancy, then a new place, a new activity can reawaken us to our essential aliveness. And this aliveness is not only in us profoundly, it is everywhere. And our seeing and our experience is reawakened when we do this, when we encounter the new. And indeed, our very breath must grow, and it wants to grow, to breathe, and to be able to form the sound and the sounds, which are the words of what is happening newly in us, to us, and through us. And then we feel ourselves again alive. So, and I will reiterate, when we are writing, or I believe when we are writing at the edge of what is sayable for us, we also have this experience of the new. When we are really present with our work, we will feel again the language, the words of the images that we are conjuring, the stories that we are conjuring. We will be able to feel those, the vibrancy of the words, the immediacy of each sound awaken us and awaken in us. That is one of the beautiful things of writing, when we really settle into it and are with it. And so today, I'm not going to give you a writing prompt as I often do, but more I'm going to suggest that you have a artist date or a writer's date with yourself. And that is, I want you to take up something new, something foreign, something unfamiliar. I want you to travel. Again, I don't mean take a trip around the world or to the other side of the world or to some place exotic even, but maybe take a trip around the block, or to a street that you never travel down, to an environment that you don't go to in your neighborhood. Or again, you could do it through literature perhaps. Get lost and find find yourself, and find the language for how to find yourself. And take on something new and experience it, and feel the birth in you of a new language, and let this languaging inform your writing. So that is, write about the very experience of finding a language for what you are just coming to understand as you're coming to understand it. And it may feel clunky to you, fragmentary, choppy, like you don't really even know what to say, but that's okay, because you're letting the words and you're writing yourself into an understanding. You are finding the language that you need to be able to incorporate this new experience into you. And you'll discover so much about yourself. Moreover, you'll be making of the experience, you'll be making art of the experience of your coming to understanding. So go to a museum and sit before a piece of art, or take a walk in an environment that is unfamiliar to you, someplace you've never been before. Speaking of the museum, I did this a few weeks ago, and I encountered in a museum in Boston the work of the ceramic artist Toshiko Takazu. And in this I was so stunned by her work that in order to understand it, in order to situate myself among her really moving pieces of ceramic art, I wrote there in the museum several poems, just having a conversation really with myself, but with her pieces of art, of her work. it was a communion with the work. It was a way to begin to kind of, for myself, make a language of what was so new and radiant for me, and really without precedent. I had to find some words that I could even begin to say, how am I feeling about seeing this? It's registering me, and I don't have any words for the experience, and I had to find them. It's a really wonderful practice, and we can repeat it. So do something new. And again, if you feel yourself not feeling inspired or not very creative, this is a repeatable tip. It's not a trick. It's a practice. It's part of the cultivation of your writing. Anything we want to do, writing, we want to do this over our lifetimes. We have got to find these repeatable ways to enliven ourselves, to discover new inspiration and new language. And this is certainly a really wonderful way. I have found it to be repeatable and continuously, not only to wake myself up, but I actually get wonderful stories and poems from this. So try it yourself and see where that goes. I would love to see what you write. If you have something, you do this, you take yourself on this date and you come up with something, I'd love it. If you shared it with me, I'd love to see it. I'd love to share that with you. So I hope you write deeply today. I know that if you do write, you will write beautifully, because beautiful is what you are. You are so full of creativity. You may not always feel it, and that's what the cultivation is about. You have to grow your ability to be with yourself, to express yourself creatively. I hope this video helps. If you would like to find out other ways that to support, that devotion to writing can support your creative practice, I invite you, please, first of all, subscribe to this channel, and also you can visit devotiontowriting.com. I have workshops listed there online, Zoom workshops I'm offering in the fall, starting in September, 5 weeks. I can help you build your writing practice, build your devotion. Also, I have in-person workshops, and I lead artists and writers residencies to various places in the world. I'd love to meet you online, in person, at one of these retreats. I'd love to support you in your writing, in cultivating your writing practice. Just let me know how I could do that. I'd be happy to. Blessings.